big fan of, and he's starting to make him a name for himself on the Grand Prix and Pro Tour circuit, a former Grand Prix champion.
Yes, San Diego.
Yep. Might be part of the reason that we saw Second Sunrise get the boot.
It was definitely the nail in the coffin.
Well, we see both these players are playing blue-black. We mentioned that blue is a very popular color here this weekend with sealed decks. And as we join this game, Adam Yurchick currently up a game. He's got a Coral Helm guide out there. A couple of other permanents, 2 swamps, 2 islands.
Skitter Skin.
Yep. And it looks like Holiday right now is resolving Uggin's Insight.
And a Tide Drifter, the offense-defense combo I'm very much a fan of.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's also a copy of the old Misty Boy out there, Mist Intruder for Nathan Holiday. So now that Holiday has resolved Uggin's Insight, we'll see what comes for his turn.
I actually believe that is a Ruination guide.
Is it? Okay. The artwork very similar.
That's just show some Hedrons and alien-looking thing in a grayish blue background. A lot of them have a similar art description, so it's easy to get them confused.
Well, Ruination guide it is. I do apologize at home. Here comes the Coral Helm guide.
And you can see Holiday's plan here. Just drew 3 cards, trade off, give yourself the time to leverage your extra cards.
Yep.
Wasn't trying to shoot the moon there with Clutch of Currents. Traded off a 3-2 for a 2-1, an exchange you typically don't make, but just drew 3 cards, and if he gives himself some breathing space, he should have a pretty big advantage.
Skitter Skin's gonna die to Grip of Desolation, as will a Swamp. Man, Grip is a heck of a card.
Yeah, it is a bomb.
What was that? They called that Plague Spores back in the day?
Yeah.
Know what that was? A black-red card. I can't believe I remember that. I didn't even really play that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of LD.
Good old Plague Spores. That's Odyssey?
Invasion.
Invasion.
I'm still impressed you had that one.
That
was great. That was great.
Transgress the Mind here from Holiday. Wow, Yurchick has an Uggin's Insight of his own. A couple other cards here in the grip for Adam. A Bane of Balagad. The powerful discard spell we've seen from so many people this weekend in in Myers Malice. And then the removal spell in Demon's Grasp.
And it seems pretty straightforward here for Holiday to take the Uggin's Insight out of this hand. We'll see exactly what he wants to do, but it feels like Yurchick's hand is so weak right now that the only way for him to get enough resources to play with is by drawing a bunch of cards.
Looks like Uggin's Insight's going to bite the dust. That'll be exiled. So Yurchick needs some lands.
Well, he needs lands and spells.
Yeah. Tough to find that all in one draw step.
Yeah, the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. Another Ruination guide here on the follow-up for Holiday.
Boy, that does look a lot like Mist Intruder. That's insane.
Show a bluish, purplish alien in a background. A lot of opaque colors and shapes. Please repeat 8 more times.
The 3-2 with Devoid Ingest, another colorless creature get +1/+0, so it's more of an offensive Eldrazi.
Kind of an oddball design for blue.
Yeah.
3 2s for 3 are not something you see in blue very often.
And typically you see them for 1 mana.
Yeah.
And they have flying, and they're unbeatable. That's typically where you see them. Yurchick, a very fast turn. Now we're heading back to Holiday. You can feel that Holiday's got a pretty good grasp on this game. And it looks like he's going to force Adam to discard 2 cards. I really do like this card a lot.
Myers Malice has been great every game we've watched.
Get to awaken that thing, get to make a 3-3. He's going to get to attack now. I really like Myers Malice. We'll see how good it is in draft tomorrow, but in sealed, I'm impressed.
Yep.
Yurchick will do a little bit of blocking here, but he is under the gun. As you mentioned, he needs lands and spells right now. which is not a great spot to be in. He's discarded 2 of his best cards. Well, he'll play his Myers Malice now. He'll make Holiday lose his last 2 cards. And now the Evolving Wild's there for Adam. So he's empty-handed and he's hoping for a big draw.
But Yurchick has weathered the storm of Ugin's Insight. I mean, he's got mana in play. He's under a little bit of pressure, but it's not insurmountable. And he's got draw steps. Given how bad the game looked a couple turns ago with Ugin's Insight into Grip of Desolation, Yurchick's worked himself into an okay spot.
Swamp got ingested. And now we head back Adam Yurchick's way. It's time for a big top deck. Doesn't look like he found anything just yet. Holiday going to come in here yet again. Some ingesting will take place. Now that one is a Mist Intruder.
Correct.
Yes. Here's a Mindraker. There is some ingesting to be done. So Holiday about to lose a card. It's an island. We head back over to Nathan. Just one in the air. He'll get to ingest. Exile an island here. Aha! A Guardian of Tazim here for Nathan Holiday. That's a heck of a top deck.
Already a little bit ahead, and now we're looking at removal spell or bust.
Yes. Kozilek's Channeler is not a removal spell, so it might be bust. Now Nathan is in the spot where if he draws a land, it's good. And if he draws a spell, it's good. A little more ingest action here from Holiday after hitting with the Mist Intruder.
Malakir's familiar on the follow-up here. A little more aerial pressure.
Just another flyer, and that's going to cause Adam Yurchick to concede the game. So Nathan Holiday is going to tie things up here against Adam Yurchick. 2 blue-black decks. Both of them have Ugin's Insight, and both of them are getting ready for game number 3. So now we take a look at the deck list a little bit here because these players are going to maybe sideboard a little bit. So we got a little bit of downtime. So with Adam Yurchick and his blue-black deck, you see both the records here. These players are at 4-0. Adverse Conditions, 2 copies of Anticipate, 2 Clutch Occurrence. Big fan of that card. An Eldrazi Sky Spawner, no surprise there, as most blue decks will have that this weekend. A Tide Drifter we saw in that game, Ugin's Insight, the rare. Complete Disregard, removal spell. Demon's Grasp, another one. Dominator Drone. Myers Malice, we saw that game. Mindraker 2, Skitter Skin. Wasteland Strangler. Doing a little check here for any unique lands. I got the Evolving Wilds that we saw that game. Looks like a small green splash with just 1 forest in the deck, so maybe that's for some converge nonsense. Titan's Presence, Kozilek Channeler, Bane of Balagat. Pretty straightforward deck, nothing too crazy going on.
Nathan Holiday's deck here, not a lot of synergies. Blue-black deck, some removal, some discard, some flyers. We've seen this one before.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy going on. If we do have time to move to our next match, it'll be Will Cruz versus Chi-Hui Yim. 2 players we see quite a bit on SCG Live. So hopefully we'll get the opportunity to jump that way. But for now, we turn our attention to Adam Yurchick and Nathan Holiday. Both these players getting ready for game number 3. And if you are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, along with the rest of the SCG Live crew here, bringing you Grand Prix Atlanta all weekend long. Hosted by StarCityGames.com. At SCG Live, hashtag GPAtlanta. Join in on the conversation on Twitter as we make our way through round number 5 and eventually round number 9. That'll put a cap on today. And then tomorrow, that's where the real fun begins. We're cracking packs. We're doing booster drafts.
Yep. People will have a lot more agency over the process when we get to day number 2.
The big thing about Sealed, I always felt this way. I don't know about you. I just want to get through day 1. Get me through day 1 with a 7-2 or an 8-1. That's all. I'm not expecting a 9-0. I'm not greedy. But I just want to get to day 2. I just want to draft, man. I'm pretty confident in my drafting abilities. I just want to draft.
Yep. I mean, I felt the same way. But the thing is, everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
And some of us have to be wrong.
That's very true.
Some of us do need the 9-0 sealed deck.
Yeah.
And to hope to crawl through day 2 at 4-2 and make the top 8.
I was always very confident in my booster drafting ability. Was only semi-confident in my ability to play sealed deck because most of the time when I was playing Magic Online, it was me actually just doing booster drafts, not testing sealed very much. And I think those who tested sealed a lot, and the person I'm thinking of the most is Owen Turtenwald. That's why you saw a lot of 9-0s on day 1 from Owen Turtenwald and seals.
A lot of the game is the same, but a lot of it's also different.
Yeah.
And the card evaluations, especially some of the Awaken cards, the discard spells, they get a lot better in seal when the games are much more biased towards slow than they are in booster draft.
Back in the day when I was grinding away, on Turtenwald, you'd see him in sealed queues. You would not see him in booster drafts. Very important to make it through day number 1 with an 8-1 or a 9-0. And he felt he could just get the job done in booster draft from there. And, well, given how many Grand Prix top 8s he has, pretty true.
Yeah.
Looks like Holiday is going to take a mulligan here.
And by testing sealed, you do get a sense of draft insofar as the card evaluation. You get to learn what's powerful and what feels impactful. But booster draft and sealed are different animals. And if you only test draft, you're likely not to appreciate the differences.
You're obviously trying to learn card interactions and all that stuff, casting costs, combat tricks, instant sorceries, all that good stuff. But they are completely different formats.
And you also need to learn things like, is my seal pool not powerful enough to go long, therefore I need to be playing an aggressive deck? Or is my deck really vulnerable to flyers? Do I need to play Giant Mantis in the main deck, even though that's a card I typically cut from my booster draft decks? You learn that by practicing sealed. You cannot necessarily accumulate that information just doing draft.
We're underway here in game number 3. Yurchick's going to sacrifice an Evolving Wilds, while Holiday just plays a Swamp to begin. Nathan happy enough after his mulligan. Yurchick deciding what land he wants to go with the Evolving Wilds. He'll go with the basic island. A writer for TCG player is Adam Yurchick, also a former Grand Prix champion at Grand Prix Houston with Dark Depths many moons ago. Also a Pro Tour 9th place finish at Pro Tour Hollywood with Elves. And from Ohio, so he's good in my book.
Nathan Holiday from Northern California.
Also a Grand Prix champion.
Part of the Channel Fireball contingent, writers and content producers.
He came to me for Tron advice at one point, so I'm already a fan.
Yep. Very close to players like Sam Pardee, Matt Nass.
Jacob Wilson.
Yep.
Eldrazi Sky Spawner will make a Scion token. It's a good start here from Adam Yurchick. For Holiday, he just started things off with a culling drone. Nothing too exciting going on his side of the table.
Interesting that Yurchick did not offer up the trade, even though Holiday can simply force the issue by attacking on his own turn. I assume this means that Yurchick is going to say no blocks.
Maybe he really likes that Coral Helm guy. Looks like he will block. Fair enough.
So he wanted to trade badly enough that he was not willing to risk the no block from Holiday on the previous turn.
Sure. There is another copy of Culling Drone. And now Yurchick will come across for 2 in the air. Adam will take the lead, 20-18. We'll see if he's got any follow-ups. Well, there is a Swamp. Here is a Skitterskin, and he'll just pass the turn back. Now, Skitterskin, it can't block, but it sure can't hit for a lot. Let's see what Holiday's thinking. He's thinking Grave Birthing. He'd like an Eldrazi Scion. And he'd also like to draw a card if possible. Yurchick will take a look, become a little more familiar with the card. But there's a lot going on for that 3 mana. Now in comes the Culling Drone. Yurchick will take 2. There's an Ingest. A Swamp there from Holiday, pass the turn back. The Ingest hit a copy of Anticipate. As now we're going to go Adam Yurchick's way. He'll be coming across here with 2 in the air and the Skitterskin on the ground. So an attack for 6. Looks like Holiday's going to take that. He'll fall down to 12. The Eldrazi Scion here for Adam, hanging back on defense.
Not willing to offer up that trade, which is also interesting. Implies Yurchick has something big in his hands.
Yeah, that's what it leads me to believe, right? He's got some use for that, but he's just going to pass the turn back now over to Holiday. Nathan will draw. Looks like he might be ready to come into the red zone.
Well, he's not in a position to block with anything that's on the ground. Skitter's getting too big and regenerates Sky Spawner in the air.
Feels like Skitterskin's going to regenerate a pretty heavy percentage of the time.
I mean, Yurchick's deck definitely seems very devoid focused.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Big Skims is here. Oh, no. It is gone just as quickly as it came.
Can't risk it.
The counterspell there from Yurchick was a copy of Spell Shrivel. A lot of players playing that card this weekend. Looks to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's not a card I think of very highly in draft, but I guess in sealed, if you're expecting there to be a lot of 8 and 9 mana plays in almost every deck, it's going to be good even later on in the game.
Now Yurchick is actually willing to come over with that Scion token. He was not before, but he is now. See if Holiday has any interest in maybe trading there.
Well, if he doesn't trade, he falls to 5, meaning that the Skitterskin plus the Eldrazi by themselves are lethal next turn. So it doesn't move the math all that much, because even if he blocks, Yurchick still attacks for 6, and Holiday falls to 6, so it's lethal over 2 turns. But going to 5 is significant for some fringe cases next turn.
Mindraker's going to come in. It'll exile the Skims. That means Holiday's got a discard. So there goes the powerful discard spell there in Myers Malice. Now we're going to head back Nathan Holiday's way. He's in some trouble here, behind on the board. Drew a copy of Uten's Insight, but not the right time to be casting that card.
And I don't know if the single island is creating a lot of problems, but his hand looks to be heavy on blue spells.
Four mana. Smothering Abomination. The rare. A little bit awkward in this situation.
No, I mean, at least it checks the air.
That's true.
something. The problem here is that Skitterskin is just going to be able to attack every turn, and Holiday with no answer on the table. And it's a hard threat to answer at this stage. I mean, he has to chump block this every turn. It makes it much harder to maintain the Abomination. So he gets squeezed in 2 different directions.
Yep. Here come the attackers.
And Holiday may have to consider just giving up on the Smothering Abomination mission and trading with Mindraker, which looks where he's at.
Let's get it off the battlefield. He can block there, sacrifice the Eldrazi Scion, draw a card. Now Smothering Abomination will trade with the Mindraker. Holiday did pick up a copy of an island, so good sequencing there and a bit of a payoff, because it looks like he's looking for a second blue.
Problem is, Yurchick over here has been missing land drops as well. So his hand is all spells. And Holiday right now cannot handle much of a follow-up.
Let's see what that follow-up's going to be. Yurchick careful on how he taps his mana before casting his spell. And it's a copy of Dominator Drone. So that'll resolve. Holiday will fall a little bit lower. And of course, the Dominator Drone also has Devoid and Ingest. So Nathan Holiday with an island in hand, so he's got a land to play. But can he work himself out of this situation? It's 4 creatures to 1 right now.
Now, 2 lethal attackers in play, plus another lethal mix of attackers with the Sky Spawner and the Eldrazi drone. So a lot of blocks that Holiday has to come up with this turn. Gonna be really hard to do it.
Well, he's got 2 creatures to play. We thought he did. He'll slow up a little bit.
Yeah, one at a time. Yurchick can cast horribly awry because he has an island and a spawn up, so you can't just dump it on the table.
Nathan wants to figure out which one he wants to lead with. There we are. So Mist Intruder and Runation Guide. And Yurchick is going to play some removal, get that Ruination Guide out of the way, and call it a game. Adam Yurchick is going to win this match here over Nathan Holiday. The blue-black mirror goes to the player for TCG player, and for Adam Yurchick, former Grand Prix Houston champion, he is 5-0 here in Grand Prix Atlanta.
Yeah, Holiday with a lot of powerful spells left over in his hand there, including Ugin's Insight, but just got put under pressure early on in the game, missed some land drops, was mulliganing and was resource light and could never quite defend himself.
Congratulations to Adam Yurchick on his win this round. He moves on to 5-0. For Nathan Holiday, he'll slide down to 4-1, but a lot of Magic left to be played here in day one of Grand Prix Atlanta. 4 rounds left to go, but that's going to put a close on round number 5 of action. So we